Pretty decent, aren't they?
Yeah, good quality.
Hey, hi everybody. We've got Jim Parker here, No.1 Scottish estate agent, come to actually be with us today on our live event. I'm going to hand over to Jim because he's good at going live, as I'm obviously not.
Self-proclaimed estate agency guru. Like, hey, at the end of the day, if you didn't blow your own trumpet, no one else is going to do it.
No,
That's
it's
that's
true.
that's really what it comes down to. And the reason I came on was because I thought, well, you're at least you're doing something no one else is doing. Because there's very few people that actually get out their comfort zone and actually go live. Live is a great moment because it happens now and it's no going back. Plus the fact it's really cost effective because you're
Yeah.
not editing anything. You're
That's
just
true.
going
Exactly.
straight for it. You're going straight for it. You're going right now. You're going right in the zone, and that's really how it transpired. So, fair enough. No.1 estate agent in Scotland at the Estas, so the Estas is the Oscars of the estate agency world. It's voted for by your customers. So we've had it 3 years in a row now as the number 1 in Scotland. Next year we'll be going in, and now we're sitting at an approval rating of 100% from our
100%.
from our customers, from our voting. So we're
That's
sitting at 100% approval rating. We've managed to move in 4 years from 99. Actually, I've got it here. I've got it here. I keep it with
no,
me.
yeah. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see
This
it?
is actually quite interesting. So there's the Estes panel. There's the awards. There's how it works. You
Wow.
can see the number of votes and the 99%. So in 2021, we managed to achieve 99% approval rating with our customers. In 2022, we managed to receive 99.09%, so only a 0.09% improvement from our customers. In 2023, we managed to get to 0.45, so 99.45%, and in 2024, we're sitting at 100% now.
My goodness gracious. So
So
no one has a chance.
over the period of 4 years, it's taken us, not me, it's taken us as a team, 4 years to get that marginal 1% improvement. Now, that's how disciplined we are, but we don't really focus on it. What we do, we focus on customer service. So we're focusing primarily on customer service and customer experience, but we're also focusing on adding significant value towards the end of what we do. So, for example, I'm not remotely interested in anybody that wants to talk about fee. If you're getting me round to talk about my fees, I'm not coming round to see you. That's the reality. Because you should not be getting me round to talk about your fees. You should be getting me round to talk about your end result, which is thousands and thousands of pounds more than what I find what the fees are in the first place. You might pay me an extra £1,000 over and above someone else to get me, but I'll tell you, I'll probably get another 5 or 10,000 over and above what someone else can get. So it's the coming back to some people will get me and some people will understand about what we do and how we deliver it. But other people won't, and that's not the people I'm after. You can't please everybody all the time, but you can please some people some of the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's the pleasing some of the people some of the time is the people I'm after.
That is so cool. I think Bob Dylan said that, didn't he?
Possibly that might have been the case.
I was just wondering, actually, have you thought about taking up training estate agents at any point?
I was actually thinking about it today. It crossed my mind because I'm at an impasse now, and it's like, my team run the business now. They run the lettings, they run the sales division. I'm kind of they're almost like pushing me out, and they're running it themselves, which is a good sign. I feel a bit aggrieved about it because obviously I'm so used to doing it. But then the next steps were for me. Was probably in some sort of training sphere as well. And you're probably right. I mean, a stage of training, letting agent training will probably come about at some point in time because I'm a landlord and I have been for 30 years. I've been a letting agent for about 15, 16 years. And I'm an estate agent as well, and I run an estate agency business. But I've also got a track record in all of these different things. Systems background though. I'm an accountant, a systems accountant in manufacturing. So I'm a financial director, financial controller in manufacturing, and cost accountant as well, management accountant. So I understand the processes and systems are everything that floats my boat. So the cross pollination of the skills I acquired in manufacturing and in accountancy and business and helping run businesses at that management structure and that management level has actually crossed over into what I do right now.
I can imagine, because you really do need systems in place when you're running an agency, don't you? Because you've got to be everywhere at once, otherwise, don't you? And if you haven't got
Systems all the time. It
yeah,
really came. I mean, our process now is about 60 different instructions from start to finish. But I think I'm actually going to break that down even further, because I'm trying to get to a McDonald's system, but I don't mean in terms of quality. I just
Yeah.
mean a McDonald's system in terms of you cannot get this wrong.
yeah, exactly right.
It's
Yeah.
like you're literally told step by step exactly how to do it, and there's a training video for every single process.
Yeah.
See, that gives your staff confidence as well, doesn't it? You can tell when you see them on camera that they all feel really comfortable where they are, which is kind of unusual for everyone.
Yeah, well, they do feel comfortable where they are. Initially, I don't think they do, but it just comes across as they do because I do most of the talking, as you've seen.
Yeah.
Yes,
Exactly.
you're very good at the talking, Jim.
But the thing about this is actually quite ironic. I'm actually quite an introvert. I'm literally sitting in a room and there is no one here, and I could sit in this room all day long and work and have no one to interact with, and I'm quite comfortable and happy with that completely. So I kind of say to the team, and I kind of say to my customers sometimes, they just wheel me out of this room now and again to do the business
Stuff.
and turn a trick, and then I just disappear back into this room again until I'm ready to come out again. That's kind of how people look at it, or that's kind of how I look at it.
That is so awesome. I know I can relate to that. I really can.
It's
I
the
really can.
secrets that no one sees on the outside,
Yeah,
is it?
really is. It's so interesting how a lot of introverts have become, um, I don't know the best word, superstars, let's say, just because they're so focused on getting results and the right results. And I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah,
what makes the difference. And
absolutely. I think that probably might, but that is most of the case. You kind of just have to play to your strengths. I'm not going to have the best strength in anything, in everything, but I'm gonna have certain strengths in certain areas. Uh, Diplomacy is probably not my strength.
we get one on
I
our
get-
islands then.
Diplomacy is definitely not my strength. I
Oh.
wouldn't say, and I need to read How to Win Friends and Influence People quite a lot. Um, because of that. But as I say, I'm not here to please everybody all the time, every time. There is a group of people out there that will attract towards me about what I do and how I do it, and think that's the type of service I want.
Exactly.
And that's the kind of agent I want to be, and the kind of person I want to be. I don't want to be someone I'm not, because then you don't enjoy what you do. And if you enjoy what you do, is it really work?
No, it isn't. No.
I
So
mean,
I was going to actually ask you some questions today. Do you still want to go through that? Should we just chat?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, I was going to gear this towards social media because, we speak to so many estate agents who kind of want to use social media, but they're not quite sure what to do. And also, so many people are scared of doing video. Okay.
and as we've seen,
They
you've been on
put it
social media
off.
perfectly.
Yeah, you've been doing it, what, 4 years now, did you say?
I've been doing video, yeah, for about 4 years. I've obviously not been doing the shows for 4 years, but the shows evolved out of lockdown. It was a need to keep going and keep actually expressing ourselves and what we do, rather than actually just shutting the doors and just saying,
Yeah.
"I tell you what, we'll just go and do something else." So
You,
I rushly got 2 days into lockdown after being furloughed, and phoned up the salaries department and went, I can't do this. I have to keep working, and I'll have to keep doing estate agency. So I just took myself a furlough straight away and just went straight back to work. And Richard did the same thing as well, my lettings director. So we just constantly worked all the way through lockdown, doing vlogs and blogs and posts, and it was nothing to do with property on most of the occasions. It was all helpful blogs and vlogs on how to cope with lockdown, how to cope with isolation, how to cope with anxiety, all these different things we were doing. Millionaire Mindset, I did 40 episodes of that. Investment strategies, I did another 40 episodes of that, and I was just going all through these different things, and just I think it's just a case of honing and developing your skills as you go,
Yeah.
because you've got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And if you look at my original video, it's literally just pants. It's in the very
Literally,
beginning.
that's you're never get
It's,
loose. You're going to look back now, aren't you?
yeah, you would look back and think, is that guy? It's like, really?
well, we're
But
at that stage now, aren't we?
Yeah, we can't because we only decided to go live, right, I don't know, about a week ago or so, and we
We
decided we're going to do it 100 days, see how many people we can help, and that's it. That was the plan. I was actually
And I
curious.
started off at 30 days. So I started off at 30 days. The 30 days challenge was basically driven by one of my friends, Lisa Novak, over in Australia,
Yeah,
the Novak's group. And Lisa said, look, I'll do a personal training if you do 30 days live on a consistent basis.
wow.
And to be honest, I Lisa's I'd learned a lot of it from Lisa anyway, regardless. But I just wanted to prove it to myself that I could do this 30 days in a row, non-stop, and it wouldn't change. So literally since that time at the beginning of lockdown, I've been live every single day since.
Wow, every
Yeah.
single day. I hadn't
Yeah.
decided.
Even when I'm at Glastonbury, even when I'm on holiday, even when I'm at download, anything like that, I'm always live every single day. If I'm sitting in the Caribbean, when I went on holiday at the Caribbean, I was live every single day. I even did my wealth creation shows on a Monday. I even did my midweek shows. I even did my Saturday morning shows and everything when I was sitting in the Caribbean.
That's fantastic. That's dedication. That really is true dedication.
Discipline, dedication, and consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency, definitely. So, do you reckon at all? I'm just curious about this because we've been doing this a long time. Do you reckon that posting specific content out consistently on social media has actually played any part to your estate agency's ongoing success over the time?
All the success, more or less.
That is incredible.
It's everything because everybody knows you. Everybody
Yeah.
knows me. And I don't say that in a oh God, I'll need to get my double doors to get my head out of the doors. I don't literally say it like that. I say it like, because people then get to know you before you get to know them. So they, I suppose they like, know and trust you.
Yeah.
Because of that, but you have to be very authentic. You have to be you. You can't,
Absolutely.
and this is why I'm saying I won't get everybody. Because, some people literally go on, I hate that guy, know him again. And I'm like, lucky you. You
Yeah.
can switch me off. I've got to put up with me for the rest of my life.
You're a beauty. I love that.
At what point do you think, so what point of you going live on social media and so on, did you start seeing that, like, did you ever see people start to like recognize you before you went and spoke to them? Like,
Yeah, because people know you because they're watching your videos.
yeah,
I feel like I know you. Yeah, you probably do because I'm quite open book in terms of what I do. I remember doing a psychometric test when I was at one of my jobs, and I went in, and the first thing the guy said to me and the personnel was, "You're kind of an open book, aren't you? You just get it all out there and just say it." And I went, "Yeah, it's like I'm just me. It's like how I am." And probably that's been a huge benefit to me for being actually just me and being an open book about who I am, what I do, and what I get involved in. People will judge me, but hey ho, their opinion of you has got nothing to do with you.
That's so
it'll
true.
bring to you the people that you want to work with.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Every single time. I have found most of the people I work with by social media. People that go out and actually do everything that they're doing right now is all the people I'm using right now in terms of that, because of their presence, because I know them, because I get to know them before they even know me. And that's the great thing. I love that. And it's probably the same for me as well, how people are with me. They get to know me before they actually meet me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but I'm pretty nervous about meeting someone for the first time.
Yes. Yeah.
And it never gives me the greatest chance then to understand someone if I'm meeting them for the first time and I don't know anything about them, because then you've got to do all the small talk in between. And it's like, I can't be bothered with small talk.
No.
I just want to get straight to the point. It's like we grew up like that. Most of my family just tells the other member of the family when they're having a conversation, can you just get straight to the point?
Yeah, exactly. Time's too precious to be messing around.
So if I can find out someone, and I do it with TikTok now as well. A lot of guys that I get business from TikTok, I'd see a lot of TikTok videos and people I know and stuff like that, and people I want to know. So I just learn over time. Is this a person I really want to follow up on and get more information from them? And if the answer to that is yes, then yeah, I'll maybe just go on their course, or touch base with them and have a chat with them about what I need them to do for me, and if they're the right person to do it. That's how I found my trainer. One of my trainers, Stephen Brown's, I'll talk about this about Stephen Brown anyway. Stephen Brown's one of the top trainers in the
Yeah.
UK in terms of a state agency. And that's how I found him. But his words to me when I appeared on the doorstep when I was at a training was, "What on earth are you here for?" It's like, this is an entry level training.
Wow.
This is way beyond what you're doing. So I'm really curious as to why you're sitting here. And literally, I said to him, it was basically, I want to know if you're the right type of person, from what I can see, can train the rest of my team.
Wow.
And
And
that's why I went all the way down to London to do that. Incidentally, Stephen, if you're watching, I'll just remind you that I got there quicker to the training than you did, and yet you're just round the corner and I'm in Scotland.
That's brilliant. I
So,
love
the standing joke between us both, because he always says that.
that. What fun. Should have brought Stephen on as well. I'm actually quite curious. Was it just lockdown that actually prompted you to actually start posting on social media?
No, I did it before that.
So it was just the video that was the social media
Yeah,
part.
the online, what we're doing here, all came about was because of lockdown, because there was nothing else to do, there was nothing else to post on, and I felt like I wanted to do it
something.
a bit more professionally than using the mobile phone, because we're wanting to do timeless content.
Yeah.
So the timeless content is great, where I mean, a lot of the audiences don't interact with us anymore because they know it's all just content we're creating every single week for people to watch, which will never go out of fashion, never go out of date. It won't be time dated because we won't talk about dates. We don't talk about specific information at that time. If somebody wants more information, we will catch them up at the end of the show, or we will catch them up. We'll maybe switch the show off, and we'll, like, for example, I'll deal with the TikTokers and their questions after we've run the show, so it doesn't interfere, and it's a timeless thing. It's kind of like recording a book, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it really does. That's what I like about your content, actually, is that it just flows, and
And
you always
yeah.
walk away with information that was actually really useful.
And that's what you can use all the time and repurpose all the time as well, in terms of getting out to the right audiences. So the first thing is, if somebody says, I really don't know where to start and decluttering my house and all the rest of it, I've got a video for that. I'll fire it over to you. You can listen to the podcast, or you watch the video, or you can read the article. So we've got the article, we've got we've got the show, the actual video, or we've got the podcast you can listen to, whatever format you want. That'll tell you exactly what to do to declutter your house.
Wow. See, that is what they call evergreen content, and it is so useful because, like you say, it saves you so much time. You just send it over, and anybody who's got that problem, and like you say, you do it in so many different formats as well, so it suits everybody, doesn't it? That's incredible.
It all started, I think, was I think it's East 4th Street, number 5424 or whatever it was, in Cellardyke. It was a cracking house. It was on stilts at the back, with a conservatory with wraparound windows, and you could just look over the rooftops towards the sea and everything like that. And I thought, more people need to see this than just photographs, because you can't relay this without photographs. And I just had an impulse at the time just to go live, because people were going live on social media, and I had an impulse just to hit the button and just go live, or maybe just record something and say, I don't know about you, but if you're wanting the house with the most fantastic view ever, this is going to be the one for you. You need to see it genuinely. Click on the link above or below, and you'll see for yourself. That's it. That's all I did.
And what happened with that specific live video? Did you get lots of responses?
Yeah, probably absolutely nothing.
It's really interesting because, like, you think about this, when we first start out, this is what puts most people off, isn't it? You could be posting content for like
you'll be there forever.
6 months,
Yeah.
and it feels like no one's looking. But if you look in the background, you actually see that people are taking a notice, even if they're not even liking or commenting on it. It's quite interesting, isn't it?
It is very interesting, but you can see the views on it anyway, and people will understand. And then if you look at the analytics behind it, you know how long people were viewing for, and you're able to retarget them as well through different strategies in terms of the viewer audience. And that's if you bring all that together, you've got a real good strategy in terms of how you're doing it, what you're doing, and when you're doing it, and who you're targeting, and how you're getting yourself in front of people. But I'll be honest and say, I probably just love doing it.
I was going to ask you that. But I actually think like, what do you reckon is your favourite part of like creating and posting the videos out on social media? What is
Just
it?
doing this. Just doing
Just
this.
it's just
Really, I don't get to talk to many people.
that's because you're shut in your room.
I don't get to talk to many people because, as I said, I'm literally sitting in a room. I'm not in an office or anything. I've never left my house from lockdown. You know, in terms of my office, I've always been in my house from then on, and I don't need to be in the office because the teams run it. And to be honest, I think the teams get really annoyed when I come into the office because it's like, you know, it's like a different dynamic. Jim's in, and all of a sudden everybody tenses up
Yeah, yeah.
because
They've got
you
to
know
act
it's
their
like the boss
best.
is in. It's like, no, everything will have to be perfect, and we'll have to watch what we're saying, watch what we're doing. So
Oh, bless.
I actually think me being away from the office is probably a bonus to them in terms of how they probably it's easier for them to relax.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, they're managing to increase. You're almost at 100%. You're at 100% now, so it obviously
Yeah,
worked, doesn't it?
yeah.
So
Well, it works. You
something's
can.
going right.
I mean, it's great to have 100% approval rating. It's great to have 99% approval rating on a consistent basis. I'm happy with it. The award is neither here nor there. I mean, I know the team love the awards and all the rest of it, but the award's neither here nor there. It's really the feedback that's the most important thing about are we continuing to do what we are doing right, and the proposition that we're offering is it still valid today as it was when we first started? And I think the answer to that is yes, and it'll only get stronger and stronger and stronger as we go. And more converts and people will actually decide it's like, you know, that's definitely the way to go. Never mind your silent movies with your video and your music. We need presenters on here.
We do.
Yeah.
We really do need people like actually showing people what is actually possible. And if you can show your strategy, like you say, before anyone even meets you, they're already relaxed before they meet you. They already know what it is that you do,
Yeah.
and they know what to expect. So when you first go and knock on the door, they're like going, "Ah, it's Jim." Our cat wants to come and say hello as well. So excuse us, it's Floof. I expect she just likes to be
Most
part of the
most
show.
people most people don't know I've got 9 cats.
I was going to ask you how many cats you've got. You got nine.
And we've acquired them. We've acquired them off tenants, abandoning them, landlords leaving and going somewhere else, and nobody will take them with them. Strays that we've got ferals from the farms at the Winniebank Cat Sanctuary. We took the 4 kittens from there as well. And so we've just and a couple of ferals that came in off that just in one day they appeared in our garden and thought we're moving in.
Like they do. Yeah, we've got a few that come in for our garage party at night. There's about 20 across the road that we feed as well, and they're all lovely. We can pick most of them up now, Jim. That's the beauty of
Yeah.
it. But
So,
we,
so
yeah,
you know
so
they're
go back.
abandoned over time. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you better get her on then.
yeah,
Get her on.
yeah. I'm really sorry. So I was actually just curious. No, I think we've already established you do adverts because I was going to say how much do you reckon is organic, and how much is advertising? Do you know? Sorry, that's putting you on the spot.
We
So I was
spend about
gonna,
40,000 a year on Facebook ads.
okay, that's interesting. And do you know what kind of results you're bringing in from that now, more or
Yeah,
less?
I kind of know, but I wouldn't discuss it in open.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough. I understand, but you're smiling, so that tells me everything.
Yeah, but we have a huge organic reach. Let me just tell you, right? Hootsuite, we've got 14 or 15 channels.
It's
Hmm.
So
incredible.
I know you were going on about the fact that we've got about 2,500 followers. How did we get them? We've actually got 21,500 followers.
Wow.
Aye, because we've got them over about 14 different channels, and they're all different people and all different audiences. They're
Yeah.
not because we go down to micro regions in terms of how we're doing things. We don't do a catch-all thing. If you're going to live in that area, you're going
Yeah.
to move and you're going to buy and sell in that area. You're
Yeah.
not going to go and buy and sell and move to another area completely. People tend to live in their own local community all the time for the rest of their life. It's very rare they actually leave, and if they leave, they do come back at some point in time. So, and last month, in the last month, we put out 2,600 posts. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got
But,
1.5 million impressions.
wow, that's
That was to 1.3 million users, and that was 515 shares.
okay. Now I
Um,
need to ask you how long that took you guys. Do you reckon how much time overall? Do you reckon that took?
Hardly anything. I've got it all systematized.
See, this is the key, though, isn't it? If you've got
Yeah.
things advertised, are you using your evergreen content as well? Would you mind me asking?
Yeah, most of the stuff is systematized. Most of it's evergreen content. We're obviously doing all the live videos. We're doing community videos as well, and that's all included in there. But most is videos. I mean, 84% of that traffic is video.
Mm.
12% is photo. The rest are just links and events and all the rest of it. But as I said, there's a huge amount of reach in terms of what we're doing, in terms of the reach and users we're getting.
So,
And that translates into your website. So there's no surprise when I would say we get about 450,000 visitors a year to our website.
Mm.
We're just a small organisation. Now, when I took over Fife Properties back in 2012 and rebranded the whole thing, we were getting 600 visitors a month.
wow. And
Yeah,
now
so that's only 7,200 a year. So, is it? Yeah, 7,200 a year. Now we're getting 450,000.
a month,
No, a year.
a year.
Ah.
Beg your pardon, I was going to say that's just astonishing. How long do you?
450,000 a month. I wouldn't be able to cope with that.
I was going to say it's super.
There's not even that many people in Fife. Fife itself
Yeah, but they might all be coming in from the outside.
well, it's only about 370,000 people and about 170,000 households in Fife, and that's all we're dealing with.
Wow, that's incredible. Then.
So we're obviously getting a huge reach outside of Fife, but the key here is we're not just reaching everybody and anybody. We're reaching people that have got an interest in property in Fife.
Yeah.
So that's worldwide. So
That's
of the majority of people to our website, it's London, it's Edinburgh, it's Glasgow, it's Perth, it's Dundee, it's all the cities that come into our website, the top hitters, and overseas as well.
Yes.
So that's why we tend to sell mid to near enough the top end of the market in terms of what we're doing now. Whereas before we were right down at the bottom in flats and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
Uh,
little terraces.
that doesn't decry the fact that I'll sell a flat and I'll sell a house, a normal house, if the price is right. It's down to if you want our services, that's what you've got to pay. And if you know what to pay that, don't we're not the person for you, because we do a specific process in a specific way, and it almost doesn't change because I know how to get all the right results with the right properties.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's incredible.
And that makes you stand out.
Yeah. I was actually curious, how long do you reckon it took you to reach with all those? How many followers was it again over all your pages?
About
About 21,000.
21,000. How long did you reckon it took you to go from almost zero to 21,000?
Yeah,
How
it's
many
4 years. It's probably 4 years.
Was it 4 years? Okay.
It's probably 3 or 4 years to do that.
When did you actually start on social media initially, do you reckon? So I'm going off more questions. Sorry, Jim.
In terms of when I first appeared on social media,
Yeah. When did you first start putting your estate agency out on social media, do you reckon?
probably way back in 2012 or something like that. Maybe.
So right at the beginning. You just
Something like that. We were 2000. Was it as far as 2006? Because 2006 was Century 21 to 2012 with the franchises.
Yeah.
I don't know if we were on social media at that time, but it was emerging, and I had learned a lot from America, because I used to go to the Century 21 conventions in 2009, 2010.
Oh, okay.
So I had been taught by some of the top people in the world in terms of social media, because Century 21 can command anybody,
Yeah.
to come along and talk at their convention. They had Colin Powell, they had they had quite a lot of top speakers there in terms of what they were doing. They had the guy from 127 Hours who his hand took his arm off or something like that. He had to cut it off in the desert because he got stuck between rocks and had to cut his arm off or he would die. So they had, they've got a lot of inspirational people that they brought along. So I got a great insight into things like that and a bigger picture, because in America at that time, everybody was doing video.
Yeah.
Because they're getting 6%. It's like,
Yeah.
I'd be doing video. I'd have a television company come and room me all the time if I was getting 6%.
It's brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant. It is different over there.
How could you take what they've got and actually package it up in a cost-effective way in order to make it affordable to this market? Because this market is between 1% and 2%.
I was going to say, and you've got a tiny little town there, really, if you compare it to like this big American suburban areas and all that, isn't it? It's
Definitely. And then
it's different.
You've got you've got most estate agents out there, or some of the estate agents. It's almost like a race to the bottom with their fees.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
is.
It doesn't matter. They think everything's done on fees, and if you're charging that, I can charge this, and that person will come and use me. Well, they'll not come and use you because you're not doing anything close to what I'm doing.
No, exactly that.
And you'll never get anywhere close to what I'm doing because you don't have 4 years of broadcasting experience. You don't
Yeah.
have 4 years of presenting properties. So even though you started now, you'd always be 4 years behind me because I'll always be evolving and adapting and just tweaking everything that I do. So I'll be way ahead of you every single time, and you'll never catch up with me.
There's a huge difference between having 20 years of experience as an estate agent and people having 20 years experience of you as an estate agent.
Yeah,
Or like
yeah.
four. Four is a brilliant. 4 years of experience of you is amazing, especially for Fife, because they're not. There's nobody who isn't going to know you. Whereas
Yeah.
every other estate agent has to start from scratch. You're completely right.
Yeah. So if you look at the number of views there and the number of people we're hitting in a month, could you imagine how many you're doing in a year then?
It's just,
Yeah.
When you push that out now, even I think that's I can't believe that figure. I'm actually really how on earth is that possible? But that's analytics, and they're there for a reason, and there's no duplication of them because they're all individual accounts, but
Yeah.
they're all brought together, and there's not really one person, for example, for Dunfermline will not go and register with East Nuke. One person in Cooper won't register with Leaving because they want to live in Cooper. They don't want to. They want to live in Leaving. So I'm not going to follow the Leaving page.
Yeah, exactly that. You want to be in your own local area. It's just
Yeah.
not
So it's that regional micro region makes a huge benefit and a huge advantage. But
Yeah.
you've got to understand how you do that and what you should be doing for that, and that takes a lot of trial and error, and mistakes in order to get the right track.
Yeah.
So
You've
while
got
it's easy for me to say that, to implement that and actually make it work is a different process.
Yeah, that's true. How long do you reckon it took you through that testing period and consistency till you found that sweet spot where people started to take notice of what you were doing?
About 3 months into lockdown, when we
That's
started selling
incredible.
houses without anybody walking in the door.
Do you think that lockdown made a difference because everyone was in lockdown too? Do you think it's a
Uh,
lot more difficult now?
I know for some people, lockdown was the worst in the world, but it was the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
Mm.
It allowed me because I just sat and learned off everybody. I learned social media strategies of some of the top people in the world. I learned about video. I learned about production. I learned about broadcasting. I learned about Facebook and how they operate. All these different things. I completely immersed myself in and became a complete student, and I still am. There's you'll have seen posts that where I found boosters that you can use in Facebook. When I was out in Spain, I was saying, look, one day I was going, okay, I've done a booster type today. Can everybody that sees this please comment on here? I don't want you to just put a 5 in there or a 3 in there or a 2 in there, and I'll know if this is getting the right reach, and then I would check the views. The next day I would do another type of booster, just a slightly different. I'll go, I'm doing the same thing today, and I'm back again. If you see this post, put a 6 in the comments, and then the next day I would do another booster method, and I'll go, okay, and then I would test the 3 of them to see which one's got the most views, and then I would know what boosters to use at when, for which audiences. In terms of that, so it's kind of like once you start to find these things, yeah. And I notice other people are starting to use them, but they're starting to abuse them. They don't understand how to use them properly.
That's so true, isn't
Yeah.
it? Everyone thinks that that if they just copy you, they don't understand what you've built in the first place.
Yeah, I tell you what, if you keep using boosters all these times, people are going to get really annoyed with you.
Yeah,
They're going to end up hitting the unfollow and clearing off and thinking there's no valuable content in that. You're just annoying me now.
Yeah.
Exactly. You've got to use it with
It's tempting to pull up my own ads manager. I have to cross my fingers. Because one of my favorite things is actually when I'm speaking with someone, I just show them what we're doing with Facebook ads for our own business.
You can ask Jim after the show if he minds having a little look and then give you some advice because he's
More
brilliant.
than happy to say. More than happy to say. I'm not going to tell anybody publicly.
We don't mind. We share ours with everyone because we're testing this new strategy right now that when our mentors in America shared with us.
We're testing the same strategy we're helping estate agents with. So
so it's all cool. So I'm just curious what your wife thinks about you doing all this stuff on holiday.
She doesn't bother. She doesn't bother. I've done it. I've done this all my life. I've worked all my life. My father worked all his life as well, and took all his. He used to take his books on holiday with him to do his accounts now and again. When he got to a point where he thought, I'm getting bored doing this. I need to do some work." So he would
Yes,
just go. He would just go in the caravan and do his books,
brilliant.
and he'd do his invoice and that, and then he would come back out, and that would be him ready to go again with us.
He's
Because
happy.
it's like a machine. It's like a car. If you're running a race car all the time, or if you're an athlete all the time, and you're doing it all the time, I can't understand why somebody says, "I'm going away on holiday and I'm going to do nothing in my job," and I'm like, "What? How is that possible to not do anything? How is it possible to switch? Oh, I'm just going to switch off and park it and leave it." And it's like, if if you're a real athlete at what you do, you're
You
not
know,
going to be able to switch this off for 2 weeks.
No.
I don't know
So
about you.
that
I can't switch my mind off when I'm on a like if I'm doing something. I don't stop. In fact I don't think I've ever taken a holiday since we started this business because I just love
I
it.
take, I take books with me. I do live broadcasts. I get the team to host it sometimes. If I'm sitting on the beach, I'll get them to host it, and I'll just join
That's
them on
brilliant.
mobile phone. You
I
know,
love it.
Yeah.
That's so
so I
cool.
just join them on mobile phone with a set of earphones and talk about it. If I'm walking through London because I'm going somewhere for a training, I'll be walking on the London. I'll be walking through London, and I'll be talking at the same
Yeah.
time on the broadcast, while they're hosting it. In the background, and you get a lot of looks from people thinking, "What the hell's going on there?"
Not in
It's
this day and age. Really?
Yeah, but people are beginning to accept it more and more that you're doing things like that, and to a lot of people when they first start, it's like, "Oh, people will judge me, they'll look at me," and it's like,
It's all
I,
in here though, isn't it?
yeah,
It's all
I
in your mind.
really nobody's really watching you. More than likely, they're curious as to what you're doing. I remember I used to put we used to be taught to put the phone on the tripod and actually just connect up the mic on a
Yes.
2 meter thing and just go. If you're looking for this house, if
Yeah.
you're looking for a 3 bedroom semi-detached property in a beautiful picturesque area of Fife, have I got the one for you? Um, Three Dunsire Crescent is a beautiful 3 bedroom, two reception, semi-detached property, finished at a high standard on a corner plot with a fantastic back garden. Let me take you on the tour. And that's it.
Yeah.
You do, and then after that, it was just photographs you started to show people with a voiceover,
Yeah.
Wow. That's much
and
better.
then that's where it evolved into, nah, let's do an immersive walkthrough. So pre-portal and personal property tour are unique to us. They're part of our DNA. No one else has used these words before. So if you're going to do something like that, you're copying. That's really what it comes down to. So I don't think anybody will ever copy, um, because I've been talking about trying to get them trademarked or something like that. To the fact that that's what we do and no one else does it, and that's what we call them.
The thing is, though, we would quite like to encourage the good estate agents that we have in the UK to actually start showing their faces on videos. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I don't. I don't want any of them to do it.
You
I
know,
just want it all for me.
no one's
Fair
going to
enough.
be
Yeah.
like you, just like no one's like us, and
I know, absolutely.
and no one's in your area, are they?
A lot of agents do it down south because it makes sense for them, but they get professional television companies to do it with them, and they
Yeah,
get them to do all the editing and all the rest of it. I very rarely get that done. I do it so it's cost effective. Hence the reason why I do a one take walkthrough. That's it,
yeah.
Yeah.
But
and then that's what gets uploaded. There's no editing.
there are different like different people in the country where I think they actually prefer you to actually just use your phone. Otherwise, they think that you're going to charge them $1 million to, you know,
For the
for
wrong things.
selling. Do you see what I mean? So
Yeah, that's why it says it's got to be cost effective.
yeah,
Yeah.
So in order to get it to be cost effective, you have to be really good. But the skill lies in the presentation.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
where
The
it comes
only
from.
way you're going to get to be a really good presenter is if you've done it already, or if you start to develop your skills and hone your
That's,
skills over a period of time. And that's why I said, no matter what anybody does to try and catch up, they'll never catch up because
yeah.
I'll always be 4 years ahead.
You're like a TV presenter anyway, aren't you?
Hmm?
You're like a TV presenter now, aren't you? Really, think about it.
In a sort of sense, yes. I wouldn't go as far as saying I'm a TV presenter, but the format and style in terms of what I do, I've now learned a lot of different skills, and I do watch TV presenters, and I sometimes look at their mannerisms and how they do things and how they present things as well. This looking straight into the camera. I'm not looking at a screen, and I can't see you just now, but I'm looking straight into a camera. So
Yeah.
I'm
Your
completely
eyes.
with you, and I'm just speaking to you as you. But if everybody else out there is watching this, I'm speaking to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that. And that's a really good skill to have as well. That's amazing. Jim, thank you so much for your time today. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure
You're welcome.
with you and that. And I'm sorry I asked you more than 6 questions.
No, you're fine. You're all right about it. It's as I say, I like to. Once I get talking, it's difficult to get me to stop.
Okay. But if you're
Well,
ever out our way, yeah, you're very welcome to come for a Chelsea bun and a cup of tea anytime. Then come see all our cats, okay?
Yeah,
You're all
absolutely. It's I'm
right.
really I have no idea where the rest of the country is. I always say to people, I couldn't care less what happens outside Fife, as
Yeah,
long as Fife's intact and Fife's still here. It
yeah,
doesn't
you're
matter
happy.
about anything else.
That's how it
exactly.
should be. That's exactly how it should be. Well, thank you so much for your time. You've been brilliant.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We'll see you soon.